All right, this is 1.3, or sorry, 3.1 absolute value inequalities. Taking a look at the practice problems here. Okay, so let's get this out here. Let's put -5 over here. Let's put +4 here. First thing we want to do when we're plotting out inequalities, we're graphing inequalities, is circle the numbers that we're comparing and then determine if we're open or closed circles. So for this one here, we have the line underneath. So we close this one or fill in the circle. This one we're going to leave open because there is no line underneath. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one. X is greater than or equal to 4. Just remember the mouth is eating the X. That must mean it is bigger. Bigger numbers go to the right. And the second one, X is less than -5. So the mouth is eating the -5. That must mean that X is smaller than that. Smaller numbers go to the left. All right, you guys can do 2 and 3. Number 4, let's put X in the middle and have -5 here and +4 there. Okay, so the X is representing all these values of the red line, okay? We know that we have a filled in circle on the left side, so we're going to have the line underneath here, but not on the right side, okay? And X is going to be greater than -5, so the mouth wants to eat the X on this side, but X is less than 4, so it's going to be eating the 4 on that side, okay? Next one, number 5. This one we're going to set up 2 because remember this one's like an and, so it's kind of between contained in between 2 points, whereas this is like a or. X can be either this or that. So let's start with 2. We've got X and -4. We know that's filled in, so we'll put the line underneath. And it looks like X is representing smaller numbers than -4, so the mouth would eat the -4, or X and +2. Not going to put the line underneath because we have an open circle. But again, this is the line representing the X values, and so the mouth would want to eat those because those are bigger numbers than 2. So there we go. Okay, number 7. Now we're actually looking at absolute value inequalities. So there's nothing to remove from the outside the absolute value bars. So we need to just set up 2 equations. 2 inequalities. So the first one, we simply remove the bars. And the second one, we flip the sign and make this a number that we're comparing negative. And then we can just go ahead and solve. So we're going to add 15, add 15. We're left with 3W is less than 45. Divide by 3, divide by 3. We're left with 1W is less than 15. Do the same thing over here. Add 15, add 15. We're going to get 3W is greater than -15. Divide by 3, divide by 3. We're left with W is greater than -5. All right, so let's get these down here. Let's put 0 here, -5 there, and 15 over here. It's rough, but it looks okay. So let's circle the numbers that we're comparing. It looks like they're both going to be open circles because there's no line underneath the inequality symbol. All right, so let's look at this one here first. W is less than 15. Mouth is eating the 15. That must mean that X is representing smaller numbers. And let's look at this half. W is greater than -5. So it's going to be going this way. All right, so W can be any value in between -5 and +15. Okay, I'll have you guys do, actually I'll do number 8 because there's a fraction there and I don't want that to scare you. First thing I need to do is get this 4 out of here by subtracting on both sides. So I'm left with 8 on this side. I'm just going to write this over here. This is canceled out. So now I just need to set up two inequalities. The first one, I just simply remove the absolute value bars. And the second one, flip the sign, make it the opposite, and then we solve. So we're going to do the same thing here for both. We're going to add 8, and I'm left with 2/5 n is greater than 16. And now you can do this a few different ways. So if you want to get this number out of the denominator, what you can do is multiply by 5, and this will cancel out, and you'll just be left with 2n. But if you multiply on one side, you got to multiply on the other side. So multiply this side by 5, and you're going to be left with 80. And then divide by 2. Divide by 2, you're left with n is greater than or equal to 40. Why don't we stop and let's just plot this one out. Let's put, I don't know where this can be, but we'll just put it right here. This 40 is right here. Circle it, fill it in because there's a line underneath, and n is representing, or n is bigger, right? Because the mouth is eating the n. Bigger numbers go to the right. And let's see, we do the same thing, same process over here. Going to add 8, that's equal to 0. 2/5 n times 0. Let's go ahead and do the same thing. Multiply by 5. Multiply by 5. You're left with 2n is less than or equal to 0. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. You're left with n is less than or equal to 0. So let's put that here. Circle it. Looks like n, the mouth is eating the 0, so n is, oh, let's also fill this in. It's the line underneath. Now, the mouth is eating the 0, so n must be smaller. Smaller numbers go to the left. Okay. Number 9. First thing I want to do is get this 3 out of the denominator. I'm going to do so by multiplying by 3, which will cancel that out. So now on this side, I'll just have 2h minus 1. And if I do it to one side, I got to do it to the other. Multiply this by 3, we get negative 12. Now we should stop here because this is interesting because we have a negative out here. So is it possible for a number to come out of these absolute value bars less than negative 12? No, it's not. Remember, because anything that comes out of the absolute value bars is going to be positive. So there's no way that the left side would be less than negative 12. So this is no solution. All right, I'm going to leave number 10 for you guys. Just remember, first thing you want to do here, subtract out this 4.2, then divide by 2. Okay. Let's see, any of these unique over on these ones? Numbers 11 and 12 look pretty straightforward. 13, we can go ahead and do this one. Multiply by 10, this will cancel out. Multiply by 10. You're going to be left with the absolute value of negative 6 plus x is greater than 20. So now we just set up two inequalities. Negative 6 plus x is greater than 20. And set up the other one, negative 6 plus x. Switch the sign, make it negative, and solve. So this one we're just going to add 6. Add 6. Get x is greater than 26. Add 6. Add 6. X is less than negative 14. Circle the numbers that we are comparing. It's like 26. We'll say that that's right here-ish. negative 14. We'll say that's right here-ish. We're going to leave them both open because there's no lines underneath the inequality symbols. And now we can just, let's start with this one. X is greater than 26. The mouth is eating the 26, or sorry, the mouth is eating the variable, which means the variable is bigger. Bigger numbers go to the right. And this one here, we have the mouth eating the negative 14, which would mean X is smaller. Smaller numbers go to the left. Okay, let's do number 15. Really important here, we cannot add these two together. We need to get rid of the 3, because this right here, if there's no symbol in between, this is really 8 times the absolute value of X divided by 4. Okay, so we cannot add those together. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 3. Do it to one side, I got to do it to the other. And I get, I'm just going to write this out here as 6. Now, I want to get rid of this 8, so I'm going to divide by 8, and I'll be left with the absolute value of X over 4 is less than 3/4. And now I'm going to set up two equations. One, you simply remove the absolute value bars. And the second one, switch the sign, make it negative. Oops. All right, and we're going to solve these the same way. Multiply by 4, do it to one side, got to do it to the other side. These will cancel out over here, so I'm left with X is less than 3. And do the same thing over here, multiply by 4, they cancel out. Multiply by 4, these will cancel out. You're going to get negative 3 and positive and negative 3. So let's go ahead and circle those. One's here, one's there. Let's do the positive one first. X is less than 3, so it's smaller than, so it's going to be going this way. And X is greater than negative 3, so it's going to be contained between these 2 points. So X can be any value in between positive and negative 3, but not including them. All right, I'll leave the rest for you guys, so good luck. If you need more help, come see me on the Google Meet. Later.